Welcome to Dual Enrollment is a new AP. My name is Bharat Sanders, and I've been doing the Dual Enrollment program for 2 years, and I've gotten really great experiences through the program, so I just want to share that with everyone. So I'll have 2 years of college finished before I graduate high school, actually. I'm graduating high school in May of this year, at the end of May, and I'm graduating college 3 weeks before. So, if anything, that's an excellent reason to do dual enrollment, because that's just super cool, you know? I mean, you have your college diploma, associate's degree 3 weeks before your high school diploma. So. I'll have my associate's degree in mathematics, and I'm also getting an honors diploma because I did the honors program at Georgia Perimeter College, and I have 30 plus honors credit hours. Some of my Georgia Perimeter achievements, these are some of the things that you can also achieve when you get there. I've gotten Student of the Semester from the Science Department. I was the youngest inducted member of Phi Theta Kappa Honors Society, and my highest math class, which I'm taking right now, is Calculus 3. So these are some of the achievements you can do while in dual enrollment, which aren't really available in high school. Yeah. I was accepted to Georgia Tech and UGA. I'm going to be attending Georgia Tech in the fall. I'm planning on majoring in biomedical engineering. So, and personally, I think that my dual enrollment education is what helped me to get into the college, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later. My career plan, I'm planning on being a neurologist. I want to go to medical school after undergrad and study neurology. Alright, so what is dual enrollment? For those of you who don't know, dual enrollment is a college class while you're still in high school. You can take it before, during, or after regular high school hours. So you can mix and match, figure out what works for you. You can even take classes online. So you can take them in your high school library. This thing is really touchy. There we go. Okay. You can take classes online. You can do those at home, you can do them at school, wherever you want. Or you can take classes on campus. The closest Georgia Perimeter campuses are Alpharetta campus and Dunwoody campus. Alpharetta campus is off of... Alpharetta campus is off of Old Milton Road, and Dunwoody campus is off of Tilling Road. And some of the sometimes they teach classes at your local high school. So you might want to check with your high school. They might teach an English class or basic accounting, things like that. They would generally teach at the high school. So, and online classes are generally more challenging. You have to be more self-motivated if you want to take online classes because the teacher isn't there standing over you telling you, you have to do your work, right? So you have to be more self-motivated, do your own work by yourself. But I've found online classes to be very rewarding, and it's a lot more flexible as well. Because you have a whole week. The teachers give you an assignment, and these things are due at the end of the week. So you can do it, and you can do it all on Monday and have the whole week to be free, or you can spread it out however you want. But you have to schedule yourself, so you have to be more self-motivated. Dual enrollment is funded by. Go ahead. Question.
The second program, the Move On When Ready, does that mean that you're instead of going to the high school, you're going to the college to take all of your classes?
Not exactly. Now, dual enrollment is funded by 2 programs, Excel and Move On When Ready. Excel means that you are taking classes both at your high school and at the college. Move On When Ready means that you're taking all your classes at the college. So you are kind of already in college, but you're still technically at your high school. So you can do those classes online, at home, on your high school, or you can do them on your college campus. There's some Move On When Ready programs where actually you can go and live on the campus, and I'll cover those later if you want to go to college early. And I did Excel for 1 year. I did 1 class at my high school, just for fun. I did chorus, because all my friends were in chorus, and I did the rest of my classes in the college. And then this year I did Move On When Ready, so I took all my classes at Georgia Perimeter.
Which one is better?
Which one is better? Good question. It really depends on the student. So if the student wants to take classes in the high school and at the college, then Excel is your program. If you want to do all your classes in college, then Move On When Ready is your program. Move On When Ready is only available for 11th and 12th graders, whereas Excel is also available for 9th and 10th graders, but it's on a case-by-case basis.
Can you please repeat again?
Move On When Ready.
Is say it again?
Move On When Ready is for only 11th and 12th graders, so juniors and seniors. Excel is for 9th through 12th grade, anybody in high school. But it's on a case-by-case basis, so that depends on your counselor or different factors.
And those are the factors.
Yeah. So those are the things that cover your tuition cost. And none of these.
Can anybody get the tuition?
Can anybody get the tuition?
Yes.
I believe you have to have a 3.0 GPA, certain requirements. I'm going to put a web page up at the end. You can go and look at all the requirements. But anybody who meets those requirements is eligible. And both of these do not come out of your Hope Scholarship. Excel used to come out of the Hope Scholarship, but they do not anymore. So don't worry about losing Hope credits, things like that. So that's fine. And finally, a dual enrollment is a jump start on your college education and a faster track to your career. All right, fundamental differences between dual enrollment and AP. Question? Advanced placement is a high school class. So it's taught in your high school. It is a college level class, but it's a high school class taught by a high school teacher. It's college level material taught by high school teachers, whereas dual enrollment is college level material taught by college teachers, generally with their master's degrees, doctoral degrees, things like that. So they're generally a little bit more qualified. Now it depends on the teacher, but really on an average basis, the dual enrollment teachers are more qualified. In an AP class, the AP test is the one deciding factor on whether you get credit or not, and they are year-long classes. So you start in August, you finish in May, whereas a dual enrollment class, you start in August, you finish in December. You start again in January, you finish in May. So you can take 2 dual enrollment classes in the time you can take 1 AP class. Now, it's different for science classes because physics, AP Physics, they cover like Physics BC or C or AB. So those kinds of things they cover 2 semesters in one. But for things like economics, 1 economics class in high school takes a year, whereas it only takes a semester in college. So you can get a lot more college credits out of the way through dual enrollment. And finally, a common misconception is that AP classes guarantee college admission. I've seen too many cases of kids who have done really well on AP classes and just didn't have enough time to handle extracurriculars and other things. So they didn't get into their first choice college, and they either got deferred, waitlisted, denied, things like that. So it's not a guarantee now. Neither is dual enrollment. You have to do well in either program, but AP makes it a little bit more difficult for you to handle because of the time commitment. Dual enrollment is a college class taught by college professors. The final exam can only be worth up to 25% of your grade, so if you do well in the whole class, you can still, the grade you get at the end of the class determines if you get college credit or not the end of your test. And semester-based learning. And finally, it shows initiative, which impresses colleges. If a college admissions officer reads your application and sees that you've gotten an associate's degree before you graduated from high school, they say, wow, that kid has initiative. He can handle college classes already. So they see that and they really like that. So from my understanding, dual enrollment looks better on your application now. I may be wrong about this, it's just from my experience. Okay, so my experience with AP classes, they're extremely stressful. You get more homework. I've had friends studying till 2 o'clock in the morning and doing projects over the weekend, which I haven't had to do for 2 years. It's amazing. And a lot of tension due to the AP test. They start studying 1 or 2 months in advance, and if they have 4 AP classes, they have 4 tests to study for, and they're all in 2 weeks. And if you fail, you only get to take it again next year. There's no makeup test, and then which means next year you're going to be studying again. So there's a lot of tension due to that from the AP classes. And the teachers are less knowledgeable. Sometimes they're a little bit mean. Maybe they're kind of sad that they're teaching college classes and they're only high school teachers. I don't know. But I've seen that they're a little more they're a little less knowledgeable. And the social life, that's another question that a lot of people have. Now, let me ask you: if you're studying till 2 o'clock in the morning, do you have a social life? I mean, you can squeeze in the social life somewhere. Find a little hour gap that you can write in your schedule, hang out with friends. But it's not as easy. My experience of dual enrollment, there's a lot less stress. I forgot I had notes, I'm looking at the slide. It's a lot less stress. The dual enrollment workload, what I've heard from people, AP Lit, they had to read like 4 or 5 books over the summer and then write reports on them, things like that. Usually they leave it till the last week and then they're doing it all night, pulling all-nighters. But dual enrollment, the College English 1 class, we read 1 book over the entire semester, plus we had some smaller selections from literature, like but there was no summer reading. There was no extra work that the teachers give you to keep you busy or something like that. Self-motivation and self-discipline are very important in the dual enrollment program. The dual enrollment, especially the online program, you have to focus more on your work because there's a lot more to think about on your own. In the in-class, there are teachers, of course, so they are helping you, but it is college, so the teachers expect you to know what you're doing. They expect you to be more responsible, and they're there to help you if you need their help. But they expect you to be a college student, even though you're in high school. And there's little to no homework in dual enrollment. Like I said before, my calculus teacher gives me homework. He provides the help if I need it, and he says all the questions on the quizzes and the tests will be from similar to the homework. But you don't have to do it if you don't want to. I'm not going to grade it. It's there as a resource for you. Homework is not busy work in college. And the teachers trust the students a lot more. Teachers are very knowledgeable. Like I said before, you can choose your own teachers, and that's through the registration process, and you can look online for reviews of your teachers. And if you get a bad teacher in college, you only have them for 4 months. In high school, you have them for 8 months, or for a whole year, an entire school year. The social life is different. Now you're gonna have to expect a little bit of a different social life. You're gonna be interacting with peers that aren't your own age. You're gonna have to start learning to talk to people who may be 10 years older than you, 20 years older than you. They might have kids, they might have grandkids. I was a group leader in my economics class, and the other people in my group all had kids or grandkids. So I had to learn how to lead them, and they respected me. They respected me because I was a college student. They knew I was 17, but there wasn't any issue there. So you definitely have a different social life, and of course you can still have your social life at your high school if you're taking Excel. You can do your classes at your high school, whatever fun classes you want to do, and then do the rest at college. Or you can even join sports in high school, or you can even do clubs in college. So a lot of options for social life in dual enrollment. You get a lot more real-world experience, wider range of peers, and you have longer breaks. Now this is a great one for the parents. You get off of dual enrollment over the summer. You get off on first week of May, so you can take your trip to wherever you want to go overseas and save $500 per ticket. and plus you start college back in the end of August, so you get 4 months, almost 4 months of break, summer break, and then Christmas, winter break starts at the first week of December and then ends in the first week of January, so you get a whole month there. And the only difference is that spring break. My spring break was last week, whereas the high school spring break is in April, so that's something you would have to work out if you have siblings in high school and college. You'd have to figure out how that was going to work. However, because of the flexibility provided by dual enrollment, you can, I'm still going to go somewhere over the high school spring break because I can finish all my classwork in the beginning of the week, and then we can go for a trip at the end. So that's something. Longer breaks, that's an excellent benefit. Alright, why did I choose dual enrollment? I chose dual enrollment to get ahead on my college degree because I realized once you get into college, you can't really get ahead that much. You want to get involved in extracurriculars, you want to get involved in research, you want to do work, you want to co-op or whatever you want to do. But once you get to college, it's kind of hard to get ahead. High school seems like the only place to get ahead, especially if you want to go to graduate school. They have their focused curriculum, you'll be doing internships and all that stuff. So I wanted to get ahead as fast as I could, and when I found out about this program, I knew that was the way to go. Of course, it's 2 years of college that are absolutely tuition-free. So that was a big benefit. That was definitely a big benefit. And I wasn't too happy with the quality of the high school social life. I thought that there was way too much drama. I wasn't enjoying my extracurriculars that I was already in middle school, and they transitioned to high school and they became, I don't know what, they became like cliquey clubs and stuff. I just didn't like it. There was peer pressure, and those are the things that come along with high school, and I felt like I was ready to be done with it, honestly, and I was ready to move on. So that's why I did it. And there were superficial friendships. There weren't any real friendships in high school. So that brings me to the next point. what about the high school experience? That's what everyone asks me. What about the high school experience? It's so important in a person's life to go through high school and the torture of AP classes. It's like, well, if you really want the high school experience, try Excel program. You can do 5 classes or 4 classes at your high school and 1 or 2 at the college. If you really, really want to still be in high school, because that will get you ahead and it'll save you the stress of doing AP classes. Or you can do 3 and 3, or you can do 2 and 4. You can organize it in a way that you still feel like you're in your high school life, and you can do college classes. If not, then do Move On When Ready. Plus, I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. I said they were college clubs. You get free access to Georgia Perimeter, athletic events, theatrical events, musical events, all those things that you don't get in high school. And those are like more professional. And free tutoring, which I covered earlier. Georgia Perimeter offers free tutoring. And it's a lot more real world of a social life than dual enrollment. You don't get the drama. You don't. People are more mature. They're paying for their education, so they're more focused on their learning. And they still know how to have fun. Now, in high school, I don't know if people know how to have fun anymore with all the AP coursework taking up their whole day. Do you have a question?
Can you still attend the Georgia Perimeter college events with both programs, or is that specific to just one?
Yes, as long as you are a student at Georgia Perimeter, which is classified as taking 1 or more classes at Georgia Perimeter, you can you can work out in their gym. You can take free training classes. Actually, the camera I have recording us right now, it's a really good camera, and I was only able to obtain it because Georgia Perimeter has these free training classes for videography and camera and audio and photography, things like that. So if you take the training classes, you can check out their equipment, and then you can just keep it for a week, return it. Question?
You mentioned that you're a musician. Do you have access to the instruction at Georgia Perimeter College through their music program?
I do. I have my own private teacher, so I haven't taken advantage of that. But you can take, as one of your classes, you can take a private music lessons, and of course that would be paid for through your tuition, and that would be one of your classes. Actually, you'll have to check. There's a list of approved courses through the Excel and Move On Ready program. I'm not sure if the private lessons are approved. But right now, I'm taking a music appreciation class through Georgia Perimeter, and that's an honors class. And I'm taking it because it satisfies my associate's degree humanities requirement. But I've been able to, through that program, attend concerts, and my teacher is, teaching us more about music and things like that. Another question?
So with the Excel program, you're at the high school some of the day and then go to college other parts, and with the Move On program, you're just at the college and you only go to the high school if you need to?
Exactly. I've been to my high school, I think, like 5 or 6 times this year just to see the counselor, things like that. Go to a sports game if you want to. You can.
So if you're taking a couple of courses in high school and part of it in the college, how would it work? Do you come?
You would have to organize that with your counselor, but a lot of the times, if the classes are taught on your high school campus, it'll be easier, like the English classes, things like that. If not, you can take half of your classes, and then the transportation you'll have to organize by yourself, but you can pick your son up at lunch and drive to the college or things like that. Yeah, go ahead.
Also, my daughter went through this program. Bert's my neighbor, actually. So
I should be excited about the dual enrollment program from our really nice neighbors.
Yeah,
So
and
thanks.
he was the perfect.
You are all here today.
He was the perfect candidate. But one thing I really want you to know as a parent is what I appreciated is the flexibility with dual enrollment, because you can stack your classes. Let's say you work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or your work schedule, you can be home Tuesday, Thursday. You can stack your classes like that for your child to satisfy not only high school, but to get college credit.
Right.
So if I knew my child wasn't able to drive yet, but I wanted them to take physical classes, I know they're not good online. Mine was not good with online. She did one, but that just wasn't her thing. So you can schedule the classes at GPC and with high school so that you can be there to drive your child if they can't take a bus to the college, right? If you're stuck with that. So as a parent, I really love the flexibility for me as a working mom as well, to be able to give my child this resource. So it's very customizable and flexible, and So that I'm so proud of all of you for being here, for advocating for yourself and for your child, because there's a whole opportunity for you. So
But why did you even have to take college, high school course? Why didn't you take everything at the day?
Well, you're only allowed to take all your classes at the college from 11th grade onwards. From 9th and 10th grade, you have to take some classes. You can do the Excel program, but that's depending on your high school counselor. They'll have to allow that. It's on a case-by-case basis. But if you're ready to handle it, 11th and 12th grade, just do all your classes in college if you want to move on. Yeah.
For 9th and 10th, do you recommend any good classes they could take in college?
Well, I would say, I'm sorry?
Math.
Math, yeah.
Math would be
Well,
best.
if you're planning on going to Georgia Tech or a similar technical engineering school, you want to get ahead on the math and science, because those, once you get to undergrad, you're going to be taking 3 or 4 science classes every semester. So you want to get those basic ones out of the way. If you're doing pre-med, the chemistry is really important, the basic chemistry. The calculus is important. The basic English is a good thing to get out of the way. It's really easy. You can get it done at Georgia
in
Primitive.
the college core classes.
The core classes,
The
yes.
core
You want to do
classes.
your core classes.
What I did with my daughter too is I knew she wanted to go to UGA. I said, just pick an area you think you're going to want to do. And we all know this from going through college. There are certain core classes you have to have, right? We were so strategic. We went exactly off of that. And I also knew we could afford it. I didn't even know about the free tuition at that time. I thought I can pay for a tutor for her much cheaper than an extra year of college. And so I can get her through these core, the math, the science, like Bert was
Basic
mentioning,
ones, yeah.
all the basics that are part of the core classes almost every college in the United States is going to require, right?
So you get 2 years done, and then when you go to college, you start on your major.
You start on your major. Yeah.
And from what she was saying earlier, I have, just to sidetrack a little, I'm taking all my classes online this semester except one, which is the Calculus 3, and I only have to go in on Tuesday and Thursday. So that means the rest of the week I'm at home. Right now I'm doing 3 jobs, I think. Not because I have to, because I want to, because I've found areas that I'm really interested in. I'm getting work experience, so that's the extra time you get. Question?
Can you change a freshman AP class that you've already been scheduled for and change that to a dual enrollment class if it's before the semester begins?
That would be a question for your counselor. I really don't know with the high school. I think when you schedule the classes, I don't think it's set in stone until you actually start taking them. So you want to get in touch with your, I guess, middle or high school counselor as soon as you can.
My second question to that would be,
SAT.
if they took the Duke Tip SAT, does that score count, or do they actually? Because you can't really take the SAT until you're
Right.
As long as
scheduled.
it's
So,
And
does
just
the Duke
above
Tip
that.
SAT score count as?
From what I'm hearing, it does.
As
You
long as
want to
it's
check
up
on that. I
I always
haven't.
double check. It should.
I haven't had. I haven't looked that up yet, so I'm not sure. From what I'm hearing, it does. If it wasn't a Duke SAT, like if it wasn't, I don't know if the SAT was it an actual college
It took
board
me
That's
down
why
the street,
SAT.
but it was just through. It was
Okay.
embedded through the Duke
If
Tip
it was a
program.
college board SAT and you
Yeah.
can log on and see your scores on
Yeah.
college board,
Yeah.
then that'll count.
Yeah, it was through the SAT.
Right. As long as you can log on to college board, print out your scores, and show it to your college.
Yeah, we
that'll
can.
be good.
Yeah, even the Duke Tip SAT is actually conducted by College Board. It only goes to Duke Tip for eligibility to go to Duke Tip.
Right. So it should count.
It should
Yeah,
count,
it
yeah.
should.
As long as it's above 970.
Yeah.
But different
Yeah.
colleges have different requirements. That's a Georgia perimeter requirement. Yeah.
There are 4 years of high school, but you only took 2 years of dual enrollment.
Right. I only found out about it in 10th grade.
Oh, it's because you didn't know.
Yeah.
And if you did know, what would you do?
I would definitely start taking at least 1 or 2 in freshman year, and then if I liked it, I would move up to more. Now, I think personally, I wasn't ready for it in 9th grade. Actually, I wasn't ready for doing all my college classes. I learned several valuable skills and academics even from 9th and 10th grade, but I don't think I would have been able to handle a full course load. But maybe 1 or 2 classes, definitely. It depends on the kid. Depends on the child.
So what about the timings on these college courses? Is it during the school hours or after school?
They're all throughout the week. You can find classes on Monday through Friday.
They
The
start
Monday,
at
Wednesday.
7, right? Cynthia, you were
Some are at 7 in the morning, all the way to
Yeah.
7 in the evening.
So we have to
So-
arrange a transportation to drop them and then pick them up.
Exactly,
and-
yeah.
Yeah.
Tell you something else that we did is I had my daughter the summer before her senior year. She took classes, she can take college classes over the summer.
Yes,
at
you can,
GPC,
but
which
those
is
aren't
really-
funded. Those aren't funded by the programs. You'll have to pay.
None
for
of the
those.
summers? Oh, okay.
Summers and
But you can
So-
do courses over the summer.
What if it's one class? How long is the class at the college?
It depends on the class. The higher math. It depends on the number of credits. So most classes are 3 credit hours. They'll be 1.5 hour classes twice a week. So it'll be 3
What if you
hours.
take it online?
Online, you have your assignments for the week. It takes however long you take on it. Okay, so was there one more question? Then I'll move on to the next slide.
I have a
Yeah.
question or a comment, I guess.
Uh-huh.
The requirements seem to be pretty low, 3.2 and 970 or whatever else.
Yeah.
Do you find that actually most students can handle college courses?
Mhm.
Because
I think so, because-
students.
Well, everyone these days seems to be taking at least 1 or 2 APs. And APs, from my experience, are more work than college classes. So if you do the dual enrollment, you'll be doing less work, maybe more challenging work, and you have to put in more quality work. But you won't have that issue of not being able to handle the workload, because the AP classes are definitely a lot more work than. So if you even substitute 1 AP for 2 dual enrollment classes, that'll be about the same workload. All right, I'll move on to the next slide. So this is moving, making a thing to the left slide. These are the cost of a high school social life. Let's see how much it actually costs. So let's take an example of a Georgia student from Georgia with a 3.5 high school GPA, graduating with a Hope Scholarship, and attending. Say he's been accepted to Georgia Tech, and he'll be attending Georgia Tech, and he plans to be an engineer when he gets out of Tech. So the estimated cost of a yearly education at Georgia Tech with the Hope Scholarship, so this includes tuition, Hope Scholarship only covers 90%, so 10% of tuition, housing, meal plan, supplies, books, and fees, that would be $15,307 a year. So that comes to 2 years. If you do 2 years of dual enrollment, you save that much on college fees. Plus, the estimated median salary of a Georgia Tech engineer is $60,000. Now, if you do dual enrollment, you're doing 2 years of college and high school. That means you only have 2 more years of undergrad if you can handle that 4-year undergrad. And you get into your career 2 years earlier. So that means you get 2 years of salary, which is $120,000, which adds up to $150,000. Is your high school social life worth that? You tell me. Come on. So just think about it. Think about the benefits and how it all goes together. Now this was an example of a Georgia student going to Georgia College. The out-of-state cost may be even more. The tuition, this number right here, would go up. So that would be even more savings.
So that is with or without Hope Scholarship?
This is with the Hope Scholarship.
With Hope Scholarship?
Yeah, this is with the Hope Scholarship in state. Now, talking about out of state, if you're planning on going out of state, you need to look at the colleges that you want to go to, and you need to make sure that these classes are going to transfer. Now, if it's a public college, mostly they're going to transfer. Because if you take core classes, those transfer to, like she said, basically any college in the United States. But you need to check on that. Each college has their own transfer equivalency table. Like, for example, even Georgia Tech, they don't accept Calculus 2, I believe, from Georgia Perimeter, unless you take linear algebra as well, because Georgia Tech has a more advanced Calculus 2 class, which includes linear algebra. So those kinds of things you want to look up. You want to make sure your classes are going to transfer.
Emory doesn't take online.
Emory doesn't take online classes, online college classes. So that's something to think about. And
But they accept if you go to college?
If you go to the college, they accept those, but not
Right.
the online ones.
yeah, and again, you want to talk to the college directly and find out.
You said this year you took most of the classes online except one.
Mhm.
So even if you go take GPC, is it an option to take some classes online, some
Yes,
in the class?
yes, you can take. They have campuses all over, all around 285 perimeter. That's why it's called Georgia Perimeter. So, so you can take them at any campus or online, or at your high school if they teach it at your high school. Any combination.
My daughter only took one, and so everything else she did,
Online?
she drove to GPC right up Old Milton Parkway, and yeah, that's the way she did.
And yes, definitely check on the transfer, how that's going to work out. But if it's a public university in Georgia, if you do well in your classes, Georgia Perimeter has a transfer admission guarantee. So if you decide to spend, you can spend one more semester at Georgia Perimeter after you graduate high school, spend the summer, and then you'll be guaranteed admission to any public university in Georgia. So that includes UGA, Georgia Tech, those kinds of things, as long as you stay your GPA high. And if you're planning on being an engineer, there's a special GPC program for engineers who plan to transfer to Georgia Tech. That's called RETP. So if you want to look that up, you can. All right, moving on. Who is dual enrollment for? So this is just kind of a recap. It's for driven and self-motivated students who want to get ahead. Primarily rising juniors and seniors, so 11th and 12th graders. But if you're a highly motivated 9th and 10th grader, you can also take classes through the Excel program. Move On Run Ready is only for 11th and 12th grade. And you have to have a core GPA of at least 3.0. Now this is a GPC requirement. And a combined SAT of 970 or an ACT of 20. And a little recap, some benefits of dual enrollment. Short-term benefits is it reduces the ever-present stress of high school, prepares you for college life, and better work ethics. It gives you, so far I've learned time management skills, effective studying, how to listen to a lecture and not fall asleep, things like that. Gives you more time to engage in extracurricular activities, both in your high school and your college, outside of school, or combination. Like I said, I've been able to work 3 jobs, do some volunteer work. I play piano. I'm the president of my old high school's book club and biology club, and you get. Yeah, I make CDs. I'm an audiobook creator. So with dual enrollment, you get all this extra time that you can put work into, and if you're into the whole resume thing, you can put that on your college resume. And the colleges really love seeing that you're such a well-rounded student. And I've gotten experience. I'm right now working at a neurofeedback center, which works with the brain. So I've gotten experience that'll help me with my future career as well. You get more college credit with with dual enrollment than with APs. Because it takes 1 year to do an AP class and 1 semester to do a dual enrollment class. I have the equivalent of 16 APs, and my college GPA is 3.92. So, and a national AP scholar needs scores of 4 or more on 8 or more AP tests. So I've gotten the equivalent of double a national scholar, which is the highest achievement. So through dual enrollment, you can really, really get a lot farther than with APs. And I've done, I think, 67 college credits. So that's really, really helpful. 67 credit hours. So that's like, divided by 3, it's like, 20-something classes. All right, some long-term benefits. Fast track to career equals money saved, about $150,000 or more. You gain real-world skills of communication and discipline, and you become a more competent and well-rounded member of society. And from a GPC survey, 96.5% of dual enrollment students would recommend the program to others. I guess I'm one of those 96.5. Alright, so some frequently asked questions. Where can my child take his or her dual enrollment courses? So I've been advocating GPC just for the reason that I've taken my classes at GPC, but you can take your classes at any one of these colleges in Georgia. So any of these colleges, the most common ones that people do are Georgia Perimeter, Georgia State, Gwinnett Tech, Georgia Tech, Kennesaw State, University of West Georgia, and GAMES, which is the Georgia Academy of Aviation, Mathematics, Engineering Sciences, something like that. So, yes, Georgia Tech also has a dual enrollment program. Now, it's going to be harder classes than Georgia Perimeter because obviously it's Georgia Tech, you're taking Georgia Tech classes. And you have to drive to Georgia Tech, there's no online classes. But it is an option.
Can I ask a question? Some of those
Yes.
colleges up there are private, so you would have to pay to go to those colleges, like SCAD and Clark Atlanta and Spelman and all of those other colleges you would
Yes,
have to pay for to go.
I'm sure the funding would be different. I got this list from the actual Excel document on the Georgia Department of Education website, so I'm providing that link in this PowerPoint as well, so you can go check that out. These are just the colleges that offer dual enrollment and what courses they offer as well. So GPC, Georgia State. Now these two, University of West Georgia and GAMES, are residential programs. So if you want to go live at college and do your classes, those are your options. And Gwinnett Tech will probably be more technical oriented. So just choose the one that's best for your child. Keep in mind the difficulty of the program, the distance from home, and program focus. Alright, what are the deadlines? So deadlines for Georgia Perimeter is July 1st for applications. So you have a lot of time. But if you are a high school student or a rising high school student, your high school has different deadlines to apply. Now, I know Johns Creek's deadline, I think, is March 15th. On the packet they gave me, it says March 28th. So you might want to check with them, but that's in like a few days. So you might want to get on that fast. Get your SAT done if you haven't done that already. That's something you have to have done. Or the ACT, you can do either or, but depends on the college again. I know GPC accepts both. I don't know if all the colleges accept both. All right, does everyone know the difference between the SAT and the ACT? No? Well, the SAT, the Scholastic Aptitude Test, has been around longer, and it's a test of critical reading, math, and writing skills, whereas the ACT is a test of math, science, writing, and reading. It's the same thing, but it's plus science. And
Science student.
yeah, if you're good science students, you want to do the ACT. I'd say do both, try both, see which one works for you. I did the SAT and I thought that I got the best score that I could get, and then I took the ACT and I got a 35 out of 36. So I didn't realize that it was going to be easier for me. I would have done it earlier. So I'd say try both, see which one works for you. The ACT was a little bit more stressful. They gave you less time, but I found the questions easier. All right, this link I've provided is just a short link to the Georgia Department of Education website. It has the Excel requirements, it has all the courses that you can take, Move On and Ready requirements, courses you can take, the actual legal document that says that you can do these programs, those kinds of things. So you can just go to that website and check out all those documents. Finally, I'd say AP is an outdated program. It's an old program. They've been doing it for, I think, over like 20 or 30 years. And what worked 20 or 30 years ago just doesn't seem to work nowadays. And dual enrollment is where it's going. I mean, it was established in, I think, 2006, and maybe a little bit earlier, but the funding was established recently, and it's out there for you. It's a program that is provided for you to excel and to get into college early. And I think that dual enrollment is just the way it's going right now. So I say take advantage of it and go for it. Question?
Are you aware that this program is actually available in other states, or is it exclusive to Georgia?
I know that kids can do dual enrollment in other states. I don't know if they have the same funding options. I know that Georgia has a really great funding program.
Like the Hope Scholarship is only available in Georgia. It's not available in other states.
Yeah. Question?
Yeah, I guess, sorry for asking this at the end, but I think I'm still confused about the basic difference, in the sense it looks like there's a lot of traveling to and fro between Georgia perimeter and your school, and a lot of scheduling to be done as far as which courses you want to pick up, when you have to drop your kid. Is that right? Am I right in thinking like that? That, you know, if I am a working mom and I want my kid to go to school as well as do a few courses from the dual enrollment, then I guess I have to do a lot more research to figure out which classes work for our schedules and make sure that I drop and pick up and do all that kind of stuff.
Well, if your child is self-motivated, I'd say try the online program.
Right, but then with that online, there are the inherent risk of some colleges not accepting it, right?
And there are classes Georgia Perimeter provides that are after school. They have classes from 4 to, I think, 10 p.m.
Evening
Or Saturdays.
Saturdays. They have Saturday
Evening
classes as well. So if you don't feel like juggling the transportation, then you do have other options. But
so
again,
the main thing would be like in Saturday classes, we can only pick up the ones that are available, because I'm thinking they have their own schedule, just like the school has their own schedule, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Or
and you
just
can.
everything that we like do all your subjects,
I'd
Do all your subjects.
You can do all of them through college. I'd say first of all, find out from your high school whether they do teach some on campus. Because I know a lot of high schools in this area teach Georgia Tech distance learning calculus on campus, on the high school campus, and college English. I know Johns Creek is starting college accounting next year, so just those kinds of options are available as well. Any other questions? Go ahead.
So you were talking about signing up for the dual enrollment program for different colleges and how some of the dates would be different. And then I think you also mentioned something about signing up through it for a high school. And what would be the difference?
So you have to register as a dual enrollment student through your high school first, and then you have to apply to the college like a regular student. Now Georgia Perimeter has very low requirements for getting accepted, so you won't have to worry about that there. But this is just, it includes like a waiver form, a transcript request form, agreement that you understand what's going on, you know, that your parents are understanding what's going on, what kind of program you want to do, contact information.
Well, I can tell you as a parent that it was scary for me because my daughter was the first one going out there doing this, and there's so much pressure, especially in this area, to take AP. They really push the kids on this. And my daughter took one AP class, and I thought, this is nuts, for all this anxiety for one test at the end, and it might not even work. If you have a child that just wants to get it, the goal of what it is you're trying to get them quality and these credits to help toward their future, right? So that was the goal for me. And my son next year I have a younger one, he's in 9th grade next year. I'm going to let him take an AP course. He will never want to take another. I'm quite sure of it. But when he's in 9th grade, he can't drive to the school, and they're not offering that much for his age. And it may be by the time, he may be able to do online. You can be sure next year in spring, I'm going to have him try it online at GPC. And her college experience now, plus she'd already gone through having to be a grown-up and a college student now and be around her time management, as Bert was saying. So that was huge to me, to not only save the money for her and for us, because I don't want her to take on debt either, and for us, but to see that her college experience was going to be better. And her senior year, Bert's right, you have so much time. I got to go to lunch with my daughter so much her senior year before she goes off to college. So, as a parent, I'm going to speak to the parental angst out there.
I went shopping with my mom today for like 4 hours.
Yesterday, he was in the basement and he was watching a movie. And I said, "You're watching a movie in the morning? I just want you doing school." He said, "Well,
Well, there was a reason I was watching.
I'm just saying. But that's the flexibility of dual enrollment,
So you have clubs like for music, everything just like in high school, right?
Well, you can go to the high school clubs, or you can take.
You're allowed to do your high school clubs.
You still have clubs.
Yeah, you can still participate.
And Johns Creek was really good about that. My daughter took courses, Bert took it too, and they were very accommodating.
I think she was first and then get to you.
So if you take clubs in high school, does that become Excel or does that still become enrollment?
No, as a Move On and Ready student, you can still do clubs in your high school. You can attend athletic events.
So I'm kind of, when you say Move On and Ready, which means take basically all your subjects in college.
Yes, the academics are all done at the college. All right, question back here.
These days, to get into college, you need to be almost a leader in everything and start a club or several clubs.
Yeah.
Dual enrollment, do you still need to do that, or just the fact that you're so enthusiastic by going to college eliminates being a leader and starting a club?
Unfortunately, I think if you did do dual enrollment and you didn't do anything else, then you wouldn't get into the college you wanted to get into. Unless you do the admission guarantee that I talked about, right? But
can you say that again? Admission guarantee was that
the transfer admission guarantee. It's TAG. If you take if you get an associate's degree at Georgia Perimeter, then after you graduate high school, you stay one more semester over the summer. Then you get a guaranteed admission to any of Georgia's public colleges. Any. If you keep your GPA high.
Is Georgia Tech public?
Yes. But if you're doing Georgia Tech and you want to do engineering, you'll do the RETP program instead.
What's the program called again? The guarantee?
TAG. TAG. And
is it free?
yes, you just have to apply for it once you get to Perimeter.
And qualify.
And qualify, right? And I think the college admissions officers really look for initiative in a student. So even if you don't start a club, if you join a club and become, a leader in that club, or if you're in a sport, you become a team captain, or if you're an academic boy, you become a captain. If you're, different things like that. You want to show that you have initiative, you want leadership, and you want to be well-rounded as well. So you want to have some work experience, you want to have some volunteer. Definitely the colleges love volunteer. Now, I don't advocate going and doing volunteer work to appease the colleges. I advocate doing volunteer work because you want to help people. But that is something you kind of need. And extracurriculars, you want leadership in those extracurriculars. Even if it's secretary or something like that, at least you showed initiative. And dual enrollment definitely shows initiative in that way. But
do you have hope to go to Georgia Tech?
Hope? Actually, I'm getting the Zell Miller, which covers 100% of tuition. That's if you have a 3.7 GPA or above.
How much?
3.7 or above GPA. If you have under 3.7, from 3 to 3.7, you can get the Hope Scholarship. That covers 90% of GPA, 90% of tuition. Question?
Did you take all of your classes online and go to campus?
I have taken, I believe, 3 classes on campus. And the only reason was because they weren't offered online, because 2 of them were science labs. You can't really do a lab online. And one of them is actually 4 classes. 2 of them were higher level math classes. It's hard to learn really high level math class without a teacher right there to help you if you have a question.
Where can we find the list of courses for 9th graders, say, like what can they take? Is it through that site?
At Georgia Perimeter?
Yes.
Or at any college.
Which site do we need to go?
Yeah, this site I gave you.
That should have it.
Oops. The site, there will be a document called Excel course options or something like that. And it'll open up and you'll see all these colleges. These will be links. You can click on the college you want to go to. It'll provide all the courses you can take. And then there'll be another link called Move On When Ready course options. Through Move On When Ready, you can take all the Excel courses plus a few extra ones. So, yeah, nowhere. And there's actually another website. It's if you want to go to Georgia Perimeter, you can contact the Georgia Perimeter. They'll give you a website with their entire schedule. You can look at what classes they have available for the next semester.
So we'll know the timings also?
The timing.
It does not matter if I'm not in this area.
Georgia Perimeter?
No, I mean not Georgia Perimeter. Like take this and do it in another part of Georgia.
Yes. Well, if one of those colleges are in your area, then you can do it at any of those colleges.
Gaines is in your area.
Gaines is to stay.
Yeah, you have to stay
Oh,
there.
that's true. Yeah, Gaines is
But any of these colleges you can do. Or you can do Georgia Perimeter online if your kids are self-motivated. And there are some final exams that you have to take at the end of the year. So sometimes you might have to drive in for that, but you can arrange with the teacher to do it sometimes. Thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you so
if any of you need to leave, then that's fine. I can take a few more questions.